It's primarily LGBTQIA2S plus people, which is a whole lot of acronyms. But you probably would recognize many of the people who were involved in putting on Uray County's first Pride this year. A lot of the organizers of that came out of the Safer More Affirming Communities group. And it was kind of in response to our goals here, which are to increase community comfort, to increase visibility, to help make schools and the community safer for all of us. And we focus on LGBTQ youth primarily as what I think of as a canary in the coal mine, an indicator species. So communities are ideally welcoming to everyone, and frequently one of the groups that gets called out in an unwelcoming community is LGBTQ youth. So we kind of have targeted that. The in the past, we've had speakers come in, we've worked with the schools, we worked with Voyager and a bunch of youth to put on Pride this summer, which I don't know, did anybody go to Pride? Um, yep, a couple of people. I thought it was great fun, um, myself personally. And as one of the things that we're also working to do is to come up with some stickers. So, and these were distributed at Pride. There's the one that's Pride specific, and then there's just kind of a more generic. And the thing that we want to do now, and that the reason I'm here today with you all, is we want to begin to have these stickers be more visible in the community. There are some businesses in both Ridgway and Uray that already are displaying these stickers and statements of welcome. But the idea was to try to get more businesses in the communities in both Uray and Ridgway to put these stickers out and interact with them. And one of the things that was recommended was that we come up with a description of what these stickers actually mean to us. So that when we go into a business, and this business is showing this sticker, what do we think they're saying by virtue of it? And this is where it's unfortunate that I don't have some of the people who were invited to come, because the idea of doing this with you all came from Deidre, who was the coordinator with the Ridgway Main Street and Creative District. And now she has retired, and Tara Wick is about to start in a couple of weeks, but neither one of them is available today. And also, we were going to coordinate this with some of the youth at Voyager. And so Sean Taplin, who I'm sure many of you probably know, was also going to come today. And kind of, we could brainstorm some ideas and look for some assistance from you all about this idea of getting businesses in other places in our community to visibly declare what, you know, this intent is, which is that our communities are welcoming to everybody. Am I making sense to anybody? Are there questions? All right. And there was also Kevin Grambley, who works with the Main Street District, I think was also, I think, supposed to be here. So I'm feeling a little bit like, I'm not sure what to do next. Um, I don't know if people have ideas and if you want to kind of talk about these different things that we've called out on the stickers and what you think they mean and how we should make that case to businesses, or what we would expect a business to do to be welcoming or to say that they value these categories.
James, this is Preston. I think that's a great idea. Starting a dialogue and having youth advisory council members kind of pipe in about what they think the answers to these questions are. What do we value, et cetera. If that's kind of what you're getting at, I think that'd be great. And just to go back, Kevin Grambley is a formal town council member who also serves as a liaison or a member of Ridgway Creative District, so the Ridgway Creative Main Street Group. So yeah, I was also under the impression he was going to make it today. So bummer he couldn't. But I know he's really busy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm a little bit sad that Sean couldn't make it because I know some of the Voyager youth who work with Sean and go over to the base camp in the afternoons. We're also going to talk about this, so I was hoping he could also bring some of those ideas. But I have a link, and this document is actually editable to anyone. So I don't know if we have a chat, if there's a way for me to put this in there, if people want to kind of jump into the document. Uh, I've lost my various controls for Zoom because I'm presenting.
Yeah, maybe we could have a designated person to write down our ideas on the doc, and then the rest of us could just talk about it.
Okay.
Does anyone in particular want to be the writer?
Um, Even if we can't get it onto the actual doc, I can write it down just here, and then we can always put it on later.
Yeah, let's see. Is there a chat in this Zoom?
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have the chat
no.
function
Oh, right.
enabled.
Okay, so that makes it hard to share the link.
You could send it to Preston and then he could share it with the group.
Yeah, let me do that. So Preston, I just emailed it back to you on the invite that you had sent me for this meeting, if that works.
Okay, great. Then I'll relay it to the rest of the group.
Yeah. And, you know, in the interim, if people want to start talking, I can start typing in here, and then so we don't necessarily have to wait too long. Sort of the first question is, what do we mean by what do we value? And then there's this notion of one of these stickers says all are welcome, and then they both say we value. And it's a question that's come up in discussion before, kind of what's the difference between welcoming and valuing? And do you all have ideas? You have a preference for one of those two words?
Personally, I kind of I do like value because I think that like welcome, like I feel like valuing means that you truly do like accept and care about all people, and that is not just about letting someone in, and it's more that you like fully accept them and value like who they are. And so I think both words are great, but I think value can mean a little bit more.
I agree.
I feel like you appreciate them more if you're valuing them.
Yeah, you're not only like what's the word?
Acknowledging that
Yeah. You're not only acknowledging them, but you're like telling them that you're saying that I don't even know. What does value mean? What is the definition of value actually?
appreciate
them instead
Yeah,
of
yeah. You appreciate them.
The definition of value is the regard that something is held to deserve the importance, worth, or usefulness of something.
And I can't type, obviously. More thoughts on that, or thoughts about the different words that we've chosen around the outside and what you think they mean?
Yeah, I have a little bit. I think maybe it gives the person like some self-worth, just because a lot of people aren't accepted like that, like commonly around, especially like nowadays.
in regard to like all the, not just the value and welcome, I like the border of the stickers, especially because I think it shows that, like, I think it makes it very inclusive, showing that, like, I like how it says your abilities, beliefs, color, class, gender, and orientation, like showing that it's not just just that it's a lot of things. And I think that value matches up well with the rest of those.
Yeah, I also really like that it's super inclusive about all things, and not just sexuality, because I think that a lot of times, like, pride is just boiled down to like being gay or straight, and it's so much more than that.
I agree. I also think it lets it kind of be a place for everyone. Um, and like every single kind of person can be with everyone, and it doesn't have to be like exclusive in any way. So I think that's very good.
Now, let's imagine we're all working in a store that has these stickers up in the window. And somebody comes in who's not from our town and says, I saw your sticker. What did you mean by that? What do you think would be good answers or good things to give the business people ahead of time to think about?
I kind of think that explaining to other people that, like, accepting every single person for who they are, even if it's completely different than who you are or how you feel, that doesn't mean that um, it's wrong, really, and that everyone should be accepted, even if you are like a little different, and that all people should be inclusive of everyone. And I think that also spreading the word to other people can really help. And then you never know, like maybe by spreading the message to people from outside of town, it can spread, and then just more and more people can be inclusive. And yeah.
I also think that it just or just to or you could tell businesses to say that it kind of means that their business or just the town of Ridgway or the Uri County or wherever is a safe space for everyone. I feel like that's what I get from the stickers. That like it's a non-judgmental place.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. Just kind of showing that like the business doesn't discriminate against anyone and anyone's welcome to come in and be respected there. So
I don't know if with Preston and the mayor on, I'm supposed to ask this, but do you feel like Ridgway lives up to these stickers?
I feel like right now there's definitely like a lot of work that we need to do. I mean, I know we're not I don't know, we don't like discriminate really. We're not like we don't have a ton of discrimination or anything, but I definitely think that it's just all of these things are something that we need to talk about more and like just be more inclusive with in general.
Yeah. I agree with that. I kind of think that the entire world is sort of like that. Personally, I think Ridgway does a fairly good job compared to a lot of places around us, but there's always like room for improvement. And I think working to like be the best that we can be and making sure that it's not just like a group of people and that it can really be like the whole town. I think that makes like the biggest difference.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, there's like a huge political divide, like not only in Ridgway, but like everywhere. So it's really hard because there's some places that are doing great with being accepting, and there's some places that are doing really badly. And, even in a place as small as Uray County, you see both sides.
I feel like Uray County has done like a good job of accepting people, but I feel like there's still a lot of work to be done on learning how to, I don't really know, like address people who go by different different pronouns than other people are used to. Like I know I still have a lot of work to do on like not just going up someone and immediately addressing them as the pronoun that I think they are, but instead like asking. And I feel like everyone like in Uray County has like the right intentions, but still need work and help.
Yeah,
I also think that, oh, go ahead.
Yes, okay, you go.
I also think that it's good that we're getting this conversation started again, because I feel like we used to talk about this a lot, and we used to, like, everyone was very aware, but I think like recently, probably because of COVID, nobody's really been talking about anything or doing anything. So I think it's good that we're like that you guys are getting this started again.
I also think kind of what Indigo was saying about like, yes, a lot of Uray County is like willing and welcoming to, I think it kind of goes back to the welcome versus value. Because I think we are kind of welcoming, like we totally are willing to have people who have different pronouns or different and stuff like that, but we don't really like value it, maybe because I also definitely have work to do, and I think everyone does, and so many people I know that I've talked to, like they don't understand it at all, and I think like by really getting the word out, it helps people not only like welcome it and say like, yeah, that's okay, but they also like value and understand it, and then it can really be a place where people can be themselves and be accepted.
Yeah, one of the questions I had was, there's obviously the one with the rainbow for pride. That's very, very much about sexuality, LGBTQ. Then there's the just plain black and white. And how do you feel about the two? Do you feel like as we go around to businesses, we should encourage them to show both? We should encourage them to show one over the other? How would you weigh the two different? One obviously kind of having the rainbow and the other being a little more just plain.
I think that they're both pretty important. Like, I mean, obviously the pride one is like kind of the main thing that you guys are focusing on right now. So that one's super important. But also like the one that's just black and white just represents everything. And I think that, I mean, they don't have to put up like 2 stickers, but just, I don't think that it should be like one or the other.
I agree. I kind of think that having both stickers will help make everyone feel like included. Kind of just because I think maybe more people will like can relate to the all black one, because it's because then everyone can like identify with that. But I definitely think the idea of having both stickers is smart, because I kind of feel like I don't know what I'm saying, but like steps in the right direction, like starting out as everyone and then you can learn more about the pride stuff. I think that is helpful. So definitely both stickers. I like.
Yeah, I agree. I think maybe leave it up to the business. Like maybe be like, hey, we have both of these. Like if you have one you like more or you want to display both, like we would really appreciate it. And just like leave it up to them.
Can I chime in? I'm curious, Ames, if the 2 stickers were a result of a discussion in the group about a couple of different angles, because I think when I look at those 2 stickers, I think it says something about their last question about whether we think Ridgway or Uray County are actually welcoming. And as Emma said, we're in a very, very divisive place right now in our world, and Ridgway is not immune to that. And while I, as mayor, believe that we are welcoming, and we are a safer, more affirming community in general, we're also a community of a broad cross-section of people. And I know for a fact that there are people in this community that don't support this effort. But that doesn't mean that they speak for the town. And I also believe that there are likely businesses that would feel more comfortable putting up the sticker on the left than the one on the right. And I'm wondering if that was discussed at all in your group, and where those two ideas came from.
Yeah, good question. It actually was. So what we were proposing is that the sticker on the left be kind of the generic one to represent the community. And then people, as we were planning for Pride, really wanted a Pride-specific sticker. So in fact, you're right, John, that the left one was meant to be the one to go to the businesses and let them welcome everyone without calling specifically out sexuality or pride in this sense, which they might not agree with, because you're right. And one of the words on here, beliefs, I think we had quite a long discussion about religion, creed, beliefs. What was the word we wanted to use on this sticker to indicate that people were welcome, bringing them their whole selves to the community, including beliefs that might be in conflict with those that the group is? Because I don't think you can say you're for safer, more affirming communities and then say, oh, except you people who believe that, you're not allowed here. That doesn't feel right to me.
That's what's so ironic about the whole thing, right? Is if you're going to be for safer, more inclusive, affirming communities, and you're going to include the word beliefs, you've got to recognize that you have to have some level of respect for people who don't believe in gay rights, for instance, and allow them to have those beliefs, but not allow them to say that because they believe that the community can't be more safer and affirming. You know, it's such a good example of the complicated world we live in right now, for sure.
All right, more thoughts, more ideas. I don't want to take up your full meeting with this, although I know a first agenda item. The goal is that working with the Voyager Everybody Loves Everybody group, and with any of you that are interested as well, if you want, we'll come up with a little half-page or one-page document kind of describing the intent behind the stickers. And then the goal would be to have probably pairs of people, an adult from Safer Communities or from the Ridgway Creative District, and a youth from Voyager or someone from your council here, or some of the Uray students that we work with in Uray, going to the businesses. So we had both the youth and the adult representation, and it's not quite so intimidating to go into places. So if people are interested in that, you can either let me know now, you can let Preston know, and you've now got access to this document too, so if you want to put a note in about anything, that would be good. All right.
That's great. Ames, well, really appreciate you taking the time to talk through all of that. That was great. I haven't heard anyone pipe in yet, but I'll be sure to relay Ames's contact information in the event that any of you all would like to volunteer for that effort she just described.
I definitely want to help with that.
I also would.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Well, what I can do is I can, have, well, so Preston's going to relay this document to y'all. Safer, more affirming communities meetings are open to anyone who would like to come. They're by Zoom. So not this Wednesday, but the next one, the 19th. If anybody is interested in potentially being added to the mailing list for that, it doesn't mean you have to come to the meetings. But then if you let Preston know you're interested and he can send me your contact information, then we can start a separate thread about the sticker distribution as well, if that makes sense.
That sounds like a great approach.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you all, and I look forward to seeing you around in the community.
Thank you.
You're awesome. Thanks,
Thank you.
Ames.
Thanks, Ames.
Appreciate it.
Okay, and next on our agenda is going to be discussing the youth blog that we post. And I can kind of introduce this because we did it last year. So after every meeting, we pick one member to write like just a couple paragraphs. It doesn't have to be super long, summarizing the meeting and what we talked about and what we accomplished, and posting it to our Youth Town Council blog, which I can get the link to you guys, or Preston can. So we should probably start that back up this year because I know a lot of adults in the community like reading in and seeing what we're doing.
Can it be like a 2% effort kind of thing?
We have never tried doing a 2% effort. We can, but I mean, it's like writing, so it's kind of hard for two people to do it.
And is it like it switches off between us each week, right? Or each meeting?
Since there's 10 of us, like, you probably only have to do it once.
Okay.
Indigo, if you do it this meeting, like you would probably never have to do it again till next year.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, then that's good.
One or two people might have to repeat. I don't know how many meetings we have left, but most of us will just do it once, I bet.
Yeah, we're looking at one meeting a month through June, I think it is. So counting today, 6 more meetings. So not a lot when you think about it. I don't remember who asked the question, but the Blogger platform does allow for multiple people to edit a post. So Anna did a great job kind of summarizing what we're looking for here. So whoever volunteers or is assigned to do just a recap or a summary of the discussion, someone else can go in and maybe suggest edits or something to that effect, provided that the person who wrote it is cool with that. I guess you never really know, but what I can do is I think I'll have to start a new Youth Advisory Council blog on the Blogger app or platform or whatever on Google, and then give all of you access or permission. I don't remember how it works. Is that how it works,
I was
John?
going to say, Preston, do we not have the login information for the last year's?
Well, I happened to, like, right before this meeting, I went on there and it said it didn't exist anymore. So someone went in and like deleted it, I guess. I don't know, but I'll just start a new one and just give everyone permission to, I'll double check on that. But I thought that was an interesting little thing that had popped up about it. So does anyone have any issues with having a blog to kind of keep track of what you guys are talking about? Obviously, the best capture of what you guys talk about and do is, of course, to rewatch the meeting or watch the meeting on YouTube. But I think the blog was a great way for members of the town council in particular to kind of keep up on what you guys are talking about and doing. And then Anna, you probably have a better handle on this than I do, but I think you guys may have made some efforts to push the blog to some of your peers last year. Not sure how successfully, but I think that's a big piece too.
Yeah. So we have Jen, who's our like front office manager, send it out in the weekly emails that she sends to the entire school and like all the parents. So like whenever you're done with the blog, either you could email the link to Jen or tell someone else if you want to like split up the work more. And have them email the link to Jen and she'll include it in the weekly email.
In this one, is this something that we'll be using like the minutes in also, or should we just kind of use like our memory and the video?
Any and all. I mean, I was just going to point out that we chose Blogger last year just because it's a very simple, easy to access, easy to edit platform, and it's free. And I think your question is a good one, but basically you guys get to decide. I mean, I think there should be a link to the video, recording of the meetings. There should be a link to a link or a copy of both the agenda and the minutes, as much or as little information as you guys want to put on there, but certainly a summary every month of the meeting, a link to the recording if anybody wants to watch it. And then I think it's a great idea if you guys do whatever you can to get it out to the whole school community.
What do you guys think about having a Google Sites instead?
I would be okay with that.
Yeah, I think that's smart because that's something like we all use in school also.
Blogger's
we can
just
make
the
it-
old version of Google Sites, basically. So if you guys are comfortable with the new thing, then go with the new thing by all means.
And then we could have an actual like URL, like people look up Ridgway Youth Town Council, like they can see our website. We can have video links. We can have blogs. We can have maybe like a page with pictures of us and our names and maybe like a sentence or two about ourselves. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I
Just might
would
be
just
more
throw out that
interesting.
the only problem, I mean, both Blogger and Google Sites are both Google products. The problem I have with Google is that they introduce new products and then they just continue them all the time. Picasa, you guys, some of you may have used Picasa years ago. And then they just out of the blue went, oh, we're not doing Picasa anymore, and upset a bunch of people. So I'm kind of amazed that Blogger still exists, considering Google Sites seems to be more popular now, but I'd be worried that Google Sites may go away. I don't know. If you guys are all using Google Sites, that's what they're having you use at school, then I think it makes perfect sense to go ahead and to use that instead. Whatever you're comfortable with.
Anna, I did kind of like your idea of, I don't really know how Blogger works, so maybe we can do this on that too, but kind of putting maybe some information about us, like just something super simple. But like I know on sites with just how it's formatted, like you can do multiple things, like having the section for the blog, video links. Like I think that's a smart idea. So I don't know, like if you can probably do that on both, but
You can do it on both, but I'm certain that Google Sites is a newer platform, so it probably is a little more capable, a little more easy for you guys to use. So go for it. I don't have a problem. Preston, is that okay with you?
That sounds great. So I'm just kind of trying to think out loud. I've never started anything on Google Sites. I can give a go unless Anna or someone else wants to take the lead on getting it going on Google Sites. And I think it was Eleni who was just talking about it. I think it'd be good if everyone went on there and added a little description about who they are, so that folks can understand who all the members of the Youth Advisory Council are.
Yeah. So I totally could start the site and I can share it with everyone, make sure everyone has
But
access.
Don't forget to not do it on your school email, because then only students have access to it.
We can turn that off.
No,
Okay.
when it's a school email, you can't turn it off.
I think
Or
you
you
can,
have to have whatever or Raymond do it.
because I think our portfolios for Shimas, we did that. So I think I know how to do it. And then we could like split up the work this week. Like everyone could be in charge of doing a bio and a picture of themselves in like one section. And then maybe someone else try and like put all the video links in, and then someone else could be in charge of this week's blog. So we can kind of divide it up.
yeah, I definitely like the idea of each doing a blog, because then I think one, it makes it kind of fair on the workload, and then also I think it is kind of interesting and like can help us learn to each do it at least once. So I think if everyone's good with that, like each writing the blog once, I think we should.
You're not talking about doing individual blogs for each of you. You're talking about each of you doing a page, right?
Yeah, like or I guess this is what I thought it would be. It's like, say this meeting it's Anna, next meeting it's me, next meeting it's someone else.
Yeah, that makes
thought-
sense.
Yeah.
I'm struggling here with what makes best sense for actually starting the Google site and having it be something that can go on in time as you guys move on and new youth council members come along. Maybe it would make sense for Preston say as the town manager, he's not an elected official. He's got this job for at least a few more years, hopefully, right, Preston? Maybe he should start it and then add all you guys to it. Would that make sense?
Yeah, because also it's even if he just starts it, he doesn't have to add anything to it as long
Right.
as he gives us
Just
access.
create it. He's the creator, and then he can make all you guys editors. He can give you all full permission to edit and improve it. But that way its home is always based on his email so that it goes forward in time as you guys move on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's smart.
Preston, does that work for you?
Yeah, I think that works really well.
Just go to sites.google.com.
Sites.google. I guess I'll ask the group or ask Anna. It may be worth making those assignments now and establishing some deadlines for everyone to go in there and do what they need to do. For example, Anna doing the meeting recap or summary, and then everyone else going in to add their blurb about who they are and why they're on the Youth Advisory Council, and what are some of the other deliverables that you guys talked about. Does that make sense?
Yes. So does anyone volunteer to write this week's summary? Or
I will.
okay, thank you. So I was thinking if this works for everyone, we try and do this by Friday so that it can be sent out in next week's email to all the teachers and students and parents. So Eleni writes the blog, but like everyone else just try and like put a picture of yourself and like just a little summary about who you are by Friday.
Do you want it to be like, maybe should it be kind of like, oh, I do this, I live here, or should it be kind of, I joined the council because this?
I think it should be more about why you joined the council. And like you can include a little about yourself, but I think like most people know like we're from Ridgway, like, you know, maybe be like I'm a junior or senior, but then just be like I joined this council because I'm passionate about this. And yeah.
But it's also going to include a summary of what this month's meeting was about, right?
That's what Eleni's doing. She's
Right.
doing this. This is just our bios.
Right. Oh, I got you.
And then does anyone want to put the video links in? I don't know if we can do that. I guess I'll do that. I'll look into that, putting the video links on the website.
So I don't know how Google Sites is set up exactly, but it would make sense to me to link to the agenda and the YouTube video on the same post as the meeting summary or meeting recap that Eleni would be doing. So I don't know if that's what your question was, but if someone wants to volunteer to do that, if Eleni can't, then that could be the approach.
I would do it. I just don't know how to do it, but I could probably figure it out if we need someone.
Yeah, I can look into that too if Eleni needs help with it.
I'm looking at a Google site right now that I created years ago. And there's a YouTube link on the right-hand side where you can just put in the link to your YouTube video and insert it wherever you have your insertion point. I think it's really pretty straightforward.
Okay, anyone have any other comments about the blog or suggestions, ideas, anything?
I don't know if this was clarified before, but the blog like kind of length and stuff, is that sort of, does it need to have a set thing, or should we just write however much we feel and like make sure we kind of include like for this meeting, would I more talk about like the presentation we just got and not like, and then we decided to build a blog, like more just kind of the other stuff we focused on?
Yeah, I'd offer that I would focus on the highlights for sure. There's no sort of requirement on length or anything like that, but really want to encourage you all to try to capture the essence of the conversation and what was discussed. So yeah, I think the presentation from Ames and the discussion you all had will probably be the highlight of today for sure. So I would definitely focus on that, but nothing wrong with also trying to capture some of the other things that we talk about, including the establishment of a blog. We'll talk about some other activities and projects you all might undertake here in a minute after this conversation. So I think there'll be plenty to try to capture in a meeting recap. Does that answer your question at all?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, perfect. Anything else? Okay, so we can move on to the next thing on our agenda. I can find it. So we're gonna discuss our activities and projects. And I'm gonna hand it over because I do not know.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and introduce this. We talked about this a little bit. I think it was at your first meeting. You all rattled off a whole host of topics of interest that you all may want to focus on or learn more about. And then last meeting, we talked about groups, individuals, professionals that you all might want to hear from throughout the course of your tenure here. But going back to activities and projects, I'm just going to rattle off some of what I had heard based on the notes I took. You all talked about mental health awareness, social media awareness, creating an alternative forum or a safe space for youth, a youth field day, enhancing education and communication on certain environmental issues, community service projects, increasing education on harmful products or products that are difficult to recycle. So, kind of sustainability there. Hosting a food drive was another idea. Learning more about affordable housing challenges and efforts, regional efforts to address that issue. There was also an idea about a community suggestion box. So I'm just trying to bring all that up to get your memories and juices flowing, because I think it'd be good for you all to pinpoint or have, further that conversation and then pinpoint, specific activities or projects to focus on up until the end of your term, which is like in June. So Anna, I think you'll remember the group last year, the inaugural group really wanted to focus on all things sustainability. And so they went on this effort to educate youth on renewable energy via kind of a town-wide educational campaign. So I think it was Emma who had directed or put together a video on renewable energy. I don't know if it was Anna, but I think not Emma, who in its entirety, but she had kind of spearheaded that project. So really want you guys to further that conversation about what you all would maybe like to do as I use the word capstone type activity or project.
Yeah, and I can go into like a little more detail on that. So Emma definitely was fully the leader of this. But we put out a video. It ended up being about 10 minutes long, and it pretty much included a bunch of educational stuff that we knew to be more sustainable, and then interviews with San Miguel Power and a bunch of kids on the school's environmental club. We did a bunch of interviews, put it all together, and sent it out to the world. I don't know how many people actually saw it, but just in case that sparks ideas for this.
Yeah, wasn't that I remember it was supposed to be shown at school, but I don't think it ever was.
I don't either. And I'm pretty sure it was sent out in an email, but it was end of the year. No one's checking their email last week of school. But yeah, if you guys have any ideas for a big project, I'd love to hear them.
I heard community comment box or something like that. I thought that was pretty intriguing. I'm wondering where do you think we would put something like that in the town?
I really like that idea too. And I'm wondering if we could like maybe do more than one comment box, like maybe have one at the high school, at the elementary school, and then some like local place that like more adults will go to.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know if anybody knows, but there's a little box outside town hall. If I remember correctly, Preston, it looks like a little truck or something, almost like a mail truck, maybe. It used to be right. I think it's right outside town hall. And,
Yeah, the payment box.
yeah. Well, there's the payment box, but there's also a kind of a suggestion box kind of thing, or there was, and it's a funny little, like I say, it looks like a little wooden truck. I could be remembering something that's no longer there, that's for sure. But no, I think this is a good idea.
I remember that box too, because I remember when I was little, me and my sister would always go try and look at the comments, even though you couldn't open it. But yeah, I think that could be fun. And then the question is, what do we do with the comment box? Would that just be something that like we'd read at meetings and try and address the issues? Or would it be like we hold like a separate meeting, like not a normal one, like solely focused on what we found in the box? Does anyone like have ideas on that?
I think that like it is a good start doing well, I have a question and comment, but it's a good start like seeing if there are issues we address, and maybe like we see like we start out just in a normal meeting kind of seeing what the issues are, and then if there are some that seems like it's something that we can really do and that we're all like interested in, then maybe that's something that we do, like that we go on with. And then also I had a question, is this box I know because like also since we are the youth advisory committee and stuff, is this, and so many of us had said that we wanted to like help youth get involved in the community, is this box going to be like also a good way for the youth of Ridgway to like get involved in the community, or is this just like a regular box that's going to be outside of the town hall?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's aimed towards youth, so there would be one at the high school and the elementary school, but then like it's just for everyone. But there,
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering if there was going to be like one at the school or not.
yeah.
I think it could be interesting to have adults and youth, but maybe have like the box be concerns about the youth, because obviously we're not a real town council. Like we cannot really help with like, you know, housing issues and some of those bigger things as much as a real town council could. So maybe we have it be like youth aimed. So like it could be if an adult wants to chime in, it could be concerns adults have about the youth and the youth are saying their concerns. But like, you know, if an adult wanted to be like, I am worried about the mental health of our children, I think we need more of this, you know, instead of being like more issues that we wouldn't be able to fix.
Yeah, I also kind of liked the idea of maybe like or the one like the one at the high school or just in general. I know that when we all like interviewed, we said that we want to be a voice for the youth, and that like a safe group, I guess, for them to come to with their issues. So yeah, but I do like that idea, Anna, of being like very youth based, and I think like showing that it like what we can do and that we're also youth, you know, we understand.
I think that the comment box is a good idea, but I do have some concerns about people actually taking it seriously, because if it is just a public anonymous comment box, I think we could get a lot of joke or prank things.
That's what I was thinking too.
So what type of measures do you think we could take to make it more sincere and truthful replies?
I agree with that too. And I do think the comment box is a good idea, but I don't know if it should be our capstone necessarily, because like I don't know, like it might give us ideas of what we could do our capstone in, but like just having a comment box is not going to solve any problems. We need to like take the comments and then solve the problem, you know?
Yeah, maybe the box is just like the first step, you know, and then like if we find like some comments, or maybe there's like a bigger issue, like say, I don't know if this would happen, but say we got like multiple comments about some certain issue that like was clear that it does need to be addressed. Maybe then we like go from there. Cause I feel like, yeah, I agree with you, cause just putting a comment box, that doesn't do anything. So yeah.
Yes, and I can read over again. I actually don't have the list. I do. Let me find it. But I can read over again what our ideas were. So if we want to maybe look into something else besides the box.
So I want to add my 2 cents here. This is a great conversation. And I think it was Eleni who had said something, and I want to latch onto it. Maybe this is just the first step. I think a community suggestion box, either at the high school or town hall or both. We want to be strategic or careful about how we frame this, the suggestion box. I think you want to solicit it in a very specific way to your peers. And what I mean by that is, are you, what are you asking them for? Are you asking them, to say stuff like, I think all dogs should be able to just be freely off leash all the time? Well, that'd be interesting for sure. But like Anna was saying, not much you can really do about it at this level. Or do you want to hear about the issues that are of importance to them? Because they would technically be your constituents, if you will. And, based on all the comments you get, through a democratic process like this, you may start to see some trends or some of the same responses over and over again, which could lead you to focus on something in particular for a capstone project or something like that. So I wanted to offer, again, my 2 cents there. I think that it's a great idea, and I think that could potentially be one way to view this box or boxes.
Yeah, I really like that idea. I think that maybe if the box is focused on what community issue do you think needs to be solved, and then they can just kind of like, and then we can gather information on what is important to the youth that isn't just the youth in this meeting, and then we can turn that into like our big capstone project and move on from there.
The other thing to keep in mind is, we can set out some boxes, but some huge efforts have to be made to explain to people what they're all about and why they're there, or else you're not going to get anything in those boxes. I think John's probably learned that firsthand, and I know that from experiences as well. And so, we can, the town can commit to helping put the word out about what it's all about using our social media channels, and we put out a press release, stuff like that. But you all will have to step up and educate the folks at your level about what it's all about and encourage them to put something in that box if they feel compelled. Does that make sense?
And I would add that to Kayla's comment, just like on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, there's nothing you can do about the fact that people will abuse it. They will put in stupid comments. They'll put in really rude and obnoxious comments, and you just weed those out like you would anywhere else. I think Preston's point is a good one, is that if we meaning all of us, you guys, and with the town's help, make sure we really publicize it well and assure people that we're not just doing this to, check a box. We want to really take people's comments and take them seriously and do something about them where we can, that will generate the most positive response. So that's all I'd add.
We could also maybe do it in like the form of a survey and put it on the blog too, and like talk about specific issues that maybe we're discussing and give them kind of like an outline for what their input should be. And then also like obviously a space for new ideas also.
I think that's
That's
a
a
good
great
idea.
idea.
Yeah.
Yes. And then Preston, are you thinking that this box is something you'd want set up before next meeting, or should we like get into the really detailed things about it next time?
Well, I think it'd be ideal if we got going on figuring out what the box, you know, getting the boxes established and then putting them out, of course, and then communicating it sooner rather than later. It doesn't mean that next meeting you all have to start, you know, sifting through the boxes. You know, hopefully there's a pretty robust response. We could always wait until the following meeting, give it 2 months time for you all to you know, continue getting the word out and get as many suggestions as possible, and then or comments as possible, and then at the March meeting, kind of unveil everything and talk through everything, and then as we were talking about, or as I was saying, start honing in or focusing on 1 or 2 topics to proceed with from there. That's my thought. You know, it's a pretty short time frame between now and the next meeting, which would be I think it's Valentine's Day. No.
Yeah, it
Day
is.
before. Is it Valentine's Day? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think that's a lot of time. I think allowing 2 months for it would be more appropriate, but that's just my opinion.
Is there any way that we could, I know that we decided on doing the meetings on Mondays, but I have soccer on Monday now.
Oh,
So
I do too. That's like the month,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, good. So great question. Let's talk about that next item to make sure that we're all still on board with the meeting time. Sorry if I cut you off, Anna. I saw you talking. Didn't mean to do that, but let's round out this conversation and then talk about maybe potentially changing the meeting date. Does that work, Maisie?
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to figure out boxes, 1 or more. Where do we put them? How do we get the boxes? And then spreading the word, I think, are what we mostly need to do.
I definitely I think we should have the 2 boxes. And I think that the having one at the school and then maybe just at the town hall or in that kind of area would be kind of the most effective ways. Because then also, I think it's really easy for us to advertise to students that the box is there when it's at the school, and that we can announce it. They can see it in the email, and then they're already there. And then obviously the other one just being in a community area.
I agree. Does anyone disagree to having 2 boxes, 1 at the high school, 1 in town park, town hall area?
I don't disagree. I was gonna say even maybe more. I know that the town park is pretty communal, and then also we have a few different neighborhoods. Maybe we could do one in River Park or Solar Ranch or something, and maybe that's too many. But then also I was thinking maybe the shop at the school, maybe they could work on making some boxes.
I like that idea a lot. I bet if any of us emailed Mr. Johnson, he has so many kids in shop. I'm sure he needs a project to give them. So
Also with the more boxes, I think that could be a really good idea. We could also start small and see how the response kind of that we're getting. If it's really popular and we're getting a lot of good feedback, then definitely expanding them throughout the community.
Yeah,
that would be a good idea.
I think maybe we start with 2 or 3 and then move on. And then for talking to Mr. Johnson, is anyone here close with him or want to email him?
I could talk to him.
Okay. And then how serious are we going to be? Do we want these boxes to be locked with a, because I think that would encourage more serious responses than if we just have a box anyone can open.
I think they should definitely be locked.
Yeah, I agree. It should definitely be locked.
Maybe just having or if it's papers, just having the little slit, and then you can roll up your paper and put it in there.
Maisie will get to Mr. Johnson sometimes this week, and then if the shop kids can't do it for some reason, we'll figure something else out, but I bet they can. And then final thing is spreading the word. So for high school, I think that makes it a little easier because we can just go on the announcements. Otherwise, maybe we could try and have someone design like a social media post to put it out that way.
Also, yeah, that's a good idea. Also, I was gonna say maybe like the actual like town council could mention it, just because I know a lot of people like come to meetings and try and hear what's happening. So I think that would generalize it, make it public.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we can do that.
Does anyone else have ideas for spreading the word? We could do flyers instead of social media posts or both.
I think that both would be a good idea because I think that a lot of people don't go on social media here.
Yeah, or even not doing like a total post, but just doing simple stuff like emails and stuff. Because I also think it's good to be like somewhat conscientious of like paper and everything. Because we're like one of our like focuses was being environmentally friendly, and since we have an option to do it virtually, I think like taking advantage of that, and then like also like not that flyers are totally out, like, but kind of using like the using what technology and like social media that we have.
Yes, I like that. I also think that we could get an ad in the Plain Dealer, or is that the only newspaper here? I think it might be.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a press release or a letter to the editor or something.
Yeah, maybe not even an ad,
We
but
could
like
talk to Tanya.
a little article being like, oh, this is what the youth town council is doing, if anyone wants to look at these boxes. But maybe I can get started on a flyer in a that could like double as a social media post. Does anyone else want to work on anything specific for like the advertising? Maybe someone could make an email to send out.
So I think I mentioned already, I'll write a press release and some social media posts on the town's accounts there and get the press release over to Aaron at the Plain Dealer. Someone had said it, but a letter to the editor or a commentary or something like that from one of you all, probably you, Anna, as the mayor, I think could go a really long way. Those are always really interesting to read. I know a lot of folks focus on those, so that's a really great idea. We wouldn't put the word out until we actually have the boxes. So Maisie or Cooper or whoever was going to talk with the shop teacher. Is that Adam Johnson? Is Adam Johnson the shop teacher? Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be good to, let him know this is, something y'all really want done sooner rather than later, and hearing what he might be able to accommodate. So giving him a deadline or something like that could help.
Yeah. So I guess there's not a ton we can do until we figure out the actual boxes. But maybe after Maisie talks to Mr. Johnson, we can like not like a full meeting, like it doesn't have to be long, but we can just like get together really quick or even just like text and then start figuring it out from.
Okay. Anything else on that? Great conversation. That's awesome. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this shapes up.
Me too. And then there was one last thing on our agenda, and it was
just the meeting date.
yeah.
Right
now.
So it sounds like we were kind of following the same trend of the it's at the second Monday. But it sounds like soccer may interfere. So does someone want to throw out an alternative date and time for next month?
Isn't soccer only going to interfere for February because then our season will be in April?
Yeah.
That's true, but we're doing this like separate indoor soccer league, and so I don't really know how long that's supposed to go.
Well, I know what you're doing, but I feel like it's not gonna go into our like real soccer season.
Well, I just don't know yet. I'm just saying, at least for the next meeting.
Yeah.
Is it later in the day, or since these can be at like 3:45? Do you
Well,
think
it's in Montrose, so
right.
We should. Oh wait, I'm not muted. Maybe we should just leave it and like, if like one person misses a meeting, it's bound to happen every now and then. Like, got to pick between activities. Like maybe, in February you come here and then in March you skip the soccer.
Also, even if like timing wise, you can come, I think it like, even if whoever like can make it to half of the meeting or like as much as they can and then leave whenever they need to. I feel like that would also be fine.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I also feel like it would be fine to change next month's meeting date.
Yeah, me too.
Accommodate to that because that's just one meeting. And then we reevaluate next week or next
Yeah, I
month.
definitely like the idea of just changing one meeting over every single meeting. But I'd be fine to change the February 14th one.
What does everybody want to change it to?
What about that
Tuesdays?
Tuesday?
Yeah.
Jacob?
Should we do the second Tuesday of the month?
So it would be the 15th instead of
Yeah, I think we should do the day later. Yeah, the 15th.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the 15th at 3:45, does that work with everyone?
Yes.
I see a bunch of nods. K-Dubs, River.
Wait, when
Yep.
does our February break start? Does anyone know?
Starts that Friday. So the 18th or whatever.
Okay, so we'll be in school.
No, that's wrong. It starts the 12th.
No, it starts the 18th.
Mm-mm.
Really?
No, yeah, because I know it's over my birthday.
Oh.
Yeah, the break starts the 11th.
Does anybody have a calendar to confirm that?
I can look at it.
Oh wait, maybe I'm wrong. No, I'm right.
Oh.
On my calendar it says the winter break.
It says February midwinter break is the 14th through the 18th.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it does. Eleni's right. It does start the 11th or whatever. That like the Friday before the 14th.
Yeah.
So does that mean
So-
that whole week's out or what?
Yeah, the whole week.
Yeah, so the week of the like for Monday, Friday, it's 14 through 18. So we could always just bump it up the week before, like the week of the 7th through the 11th.
So
Yeah,
how that's the second Tuesday of the month technically, because the
Mhm.
first.
Yeah.
So it would be the 8th.
We could just do that for this next meeting. I don't think we should permanently change it to that, but just for the next meeting.
Does the 8th work for everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
spring.
We'll figure that out next meeting. We don't need to schedule anything more.
Okay.
So Preston, you got that the 8th?
So Tuesday, the 8th, at same time, 3:45.
Yeah. And who
Okay.
knows if we'll be in person or not, but we'll know more when it's a week away.
Sounds great. So, and then just keep this moving along. I just wanted to highlight some of the future presentation items. We will have, I believe her name's Jeriel with West Slope Youth Voice come in and do a presentation similar to what Ames did today to talk about all things West Slope Youth Voice and kind of what they're all about. And there may be an interest on her part to invite you all to participate in in one or more of their programs. So excited about that. Not sure if that'll be next month or not. I think it'll work for them, but we'll see. And then I'd like our town marshal to come in and harass you all for a little bit, ask you guys what you all are about and give you all some insight into our marshal's office and what our deputies do on a day-to-day basis and what they see. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for taking the time today. Anna, I think it's time to bang the gavel unless you guys have any questions on anything.
Okay, thank you guys for coming. I am adjourning the meeting at 5:03 p.m. Have a good night.
Nice job, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.